the role of the record company in the past was um, a tremendously different thing than it is now. In the past, it was you you were completely and utterly dependent on them for um, your direction of your sound, even the songwriting. Um, you couldn't tour without tour support. You couldn't market your band without their relationships with radio and television. You couldn't. Nobody would ever know who you were except for the people who come see you at a bar in your hometown, because the whole thing was sort of like landlocked by the record business industry. And it wasn't necessarily a bad thing. That's just the way things were. There wasn't technology to give you the choice to learn how to do any of this stuff. It was just, that's the way it was. Now, we're in this sort of hyper transition gray area where the old antiquated formula still applies. But all these new ideas that are being tried, and some work and some don't, they also are becoming more and more and more applicable, almost to the 50% mark, and in some cases over the 50% mark. And so this sort of hybrid blend of old and new is what artists use now to be successful, whether it be Pretty Lights, who has no record company. They have nothing. All they do is give their music away online and tour and sell as many tickets as most major bands on major labels, who are, a lot of them are giving 10, 15, 20 cents on the dollar back to their label, trapped in these 360-degree profit-sharing deals that are the common thing to do nowadays. And then you have a band like Coldplay, who's on EMI, in a traditional record deal, and a traditional everything that stands true and profitable for them since the 90s. It all depends on who you are and how long you've been in the game. To monetize YouTube, you need your own channel, and you need to have a big sort of power strength in your views. You need to have a lot of content, and there's the typical YouTube monetization where you have X amount of views and you are paid for ad revenue on your things. The record companies have a deal with YouTube. I think Warner's has their own deal, and Universal and Sony have, and I think EMI. I mean, EMI and Sony are now the same thing anyway. Have a deal. What they do is they created a channel called Vevo. And Vevo is a floating sort of skin YouTube that's part of YouTube. But Vevo has ad streaming going throughout its face palettes. When you watch a Vevo video, for instance, like Vevo video would be like a 50 Cent video, because these are not 50 Cent. I'm trying to blank. Freaking Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne is through the Cash Money, which is Universal. So that would be on Vevo. Shines with Guns would be, our music videos are through Vevo. Even though it's Vevo, it's still YouTube. And you still get a YouTube play. But now there's an income sharing situation happening with the record company and with YouTube. And supposedly, that income share goes back to recoup the recording of the record. However, all this newfangled technology is hard to account now, and it's a whole other story. How do you audit books on spins and streams in new media? Because the deal that they worked out with YouTube, I don't know what that deal is. Neither does Lil Wayne. Maybe his lawyer does, but these major companies are doing deals with Pandora, Spotify's, and Rhapsodies, and Songzas, and all these music.coms out there. They're doing deals with them, and the door's closed, and the record company and the .com are cutting a deal, and that money's going back into the record company, and it's not publicly accessible. You can get online, figure out how many records you sold. You can audit that really easy. It's very digital now. You sold this many records on iTunes. iTunes is going to tell you the truth. You ship this many records to stores. You can audit that easily. How do you audit streams on .coms in 27 territories? Ooh, it's a nightmare. It's more transparent, but now there's a lot of transparency to keep up with on an accounting level. Because it's weird. It's not, yeah, you could find out things, but what was the deal? Who gets the money? How much money is distributed? How much, is it a blanket? Is it a blanket license? Is it an individual license? Is it a per spin, per unit, per quarter? I mean, there's just so many questions that, not my job. But I hope somebody does it. A good friend of the band that we use for our pirate hacker programmer marketing guy on a digital front. His name's Dustin, was in Florida, and I thought of an idea, and I didn't know if it was possible, and I called him. I was like, "Hey, so I'm thinking." We started to brainstorm, and we came up with something really cool. It's called Radio Fire, and it basically enables the artist to be able to use the social networking of every radio station in the United States. Since the radio stations relied on phones and research for so long, and finally they figured out, oh shit, we haven't been keeping up. And now people listening to the radio station have more fans on Facebook than the station itself. So they're clamoring, clawing and running to try to get more visibility online. Because think how easy it would be to do research on a record. If you went, what do you guys think? Click. Okay, we're adding the record. We're not adding the record. You don't have to call 10 people and it's over. Over. You get online, you go, so what do you guys think? Do you like the new AFI single? Or do you prefer Pierce the Veil? Question mark, enter. You come back after lunch, your answer's done. It's really simple. But they're not going to be able to do that if they have 10,000 likes. They need 100,000 likes. They need 200,000 likes to get a broad perspective and not just a narrow demographic of maybe all metal kids or all hipster kids that are only going to vote on the hipster bit. So it's like, so what we've developed is an application that allows the band to help these stations by giving them traffic. And in return, what do we want? Obviously, we want love from the station. Spin, whatever. That's our deal. Well, the whole world's going mobile. It's not just going social. We've been social since 2006. The record labels figured that out in 2008. Radio figured it out in 2010. And it's 2012. And now all of us who went social are now going socially mobile. It's all about the mobile. It's all about the device. How I can have everything at my fingertips, my entire library of my music, all of my films, all of my friends, and all of my games, everything, my notes, my Word documents, everything is here. Or my iPad. It's all done. I don't need my computers, I don't need my studio, put my headphones on, and I most certainly don't need, visible physical content like a CD or a DVD or something. So, it's not about it. Everybody is social. It's already done. Music and everything. It's all done. Now it's all squeezing into this tight sort of mobile ball to where you can pin press and swipe your hand across to find everything that you want. And the record business is going to have to figure that out. That streams and the ability for the more access you give somebody in one touch, one click, one movement, one swipe, the more attention you have. If you make them go in and then they go to the window and they have to go through that, you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them by the second click. Done. 10 seconds, one click. If If you give somebody what they want in 10 seconds and they use their finger one time, you may have them. You may get the impression. You may get the analytic, or the spin or the stream or whatever verbiage is applicable to you having a successful application for your music distribution.